How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. So over on Dixie for the daily, we are seeing correlation. Remember, stocks may trade with crypto again, as we are seeing the risk-off assets kind of be more appealing. We do have the interest rates. We may see 100 BP cut throughout this year. At 100 BP cut will make riskier assets like some stocks and crypto more appealing to investors. That does mean we will start to see some more investing. I actually saw some Bitcoin and Ethereum commercials today, so there is some positivity around that. That will start to bring in more money. RSI is starting to curl away, stochastic is starting to sell off. VWAP is starting to reject that neutral, so I would watch. Momentum does wander around, but that momentum does have a double green dot, so watch that VWAP. If it can cross bullish and hold, we will see momentum gain strength. Money flow could push up, and the Dixie could bounce. So over on Bitcoin dominance, we could have a double top here, so I would exercise caution. A double top is where you get that rise, a drop, a rise, and then a drop, and then you would continue lower. So I would exercise caution. You would have a neckline where your two rises would connect, and then you would measure from your head to your neckline and apply that down, and that would give you your breakdown point right around that 54%. Stochastic does want around, momentum wants around, VWAP is pulling back, money flow is selling off, so I would watch. Remember, this doesn't mean Bitcoin has to sell off, but that could mean altcoins may do better than Bitcoin. Over on total for the daily, we do have a bounce off that 300 EMA, so watch for a higher high with higher lows here. If we see that, we can push forward. We don't want to see a rising channel here. We don't quite have a rising channel unless you consider this a broken rising channel. So if you consider a broken rising channel, watch for a retest. If we retest, come back in and push forward, that would be positive. But if we do get a higher low and then bounce, that could create that higher high to create a bullish continuation. Right now, if this was a broken channel, we could end up pushing down toward, let's see, right around this 529 area. So I would watch. That would be a pretty decent retracement, but that could set us up still for a higher low. If we push off that point, then get a higher high afterwards, that could create some bullish momentum. Our momentum does want to round away. We have a double red dot as that VWAP is pulling back, so watch that money flow. It will start to break bearish if that VWAP does not reverse. Stochastic is selling off with orange above blue. RSI is pulling back. So overall, I would watch. Remember, that does mean total could sell off. Over on futures for the daily, we do have a gap down, so I would exercise caution with a long lower shadow. This does mean we could try to push forward, but we did end up breaking away. We do have a rising channel here, which this could be a breakdown of that rising channel. We did draw this some days ago. We do have the same channel that we just drew on Bitcoin, though. Our stochastic does want to round away. We have a bearish cross. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is rounding with the red dot. VWAP is breaking down. Money flow is pulling back, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 4 hour, you can see that breakdown pretty quick. This candle pretty much just opened, so we're really not going to go too low on it. RSI is pulling back. VWAP is overall selling off. Momentum's breaking down. Watch that VWAP close. If it continues to favor bearish, we would see a push down. Right now, you want to pay more close attention to Bitcoin. Actually, futures is trading. Sorry, thought it was the weekend for a second. Had a kind of strange day, but over on the 2 hour, we'll jump here. You did see a pretty quick drop down. Remember, a quick drop down usually is retraced, and having a gap above us does set us up to retrace to the upside. This could be that long lower shadow as well on the 2 hour. VWAP is pulling back. RSI is pulling back. Stochastic wants to round away. Momentum is dropping, so I would exercise caution. Over on that 1 hour, we are pushing down. We do want to see further bearish momentum. I would watch. If we do not hold this 57K range, we could break down still with this gap above us and then fill that gap later. Remember, gaps don't always fill right away. If we went back in history, we do have some that took several weeks or months to fill. Stochastic is pulling back. RSI is starting to drop away. That VWAP does want to sell off. We are seeing lower lows, so I would watch. If that VWAP continues to sell off, momentum will continue lower, money flow will continue to break, and those higher time frames will continue to weaken. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we are within this rising channel. I would exercise caution. We do have some tops and bottoms that connect, so if we do not break down here, that would be positive. But if we do make a bounce and continue forward, we need to break and hold that 63K. If we do not hold that 63K, we could still see a lower high that would push us lower. So stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is selling off. Momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back, money flow is starting to sell off, so I would exercise caution. Again, watch for higher lows and higher highs. Over on the 4-hour, you can see we broke that 300 EMA and we kind of just spilled over very quick, so that's a pretty good example how that is a very strong support resistance, and when you get it, you can break down. But remember, when you make a quick move one way, you can make another move the opposite direction. RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping down, that money flow is starting to weaken, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 2-hour, our VWAP is continuing to sell off. We have lower lows, so I would watch. That is starting to size up for more bearish favor. That bearish favor will cause momentum to drop, causing money flow to weaken, and price action would react negative. This could be a long lower shadow though, so I would watch. Remember, that does show that the bears tried to push us down, but the bulls are stepping in, buying in, and then pushing us up. Over on the 1-hour, stochastic is dropping away, RSI is pulling back, and VWAP is favoring bearish. We do have lower lows, so again, exercise caution, watch for lower highs. Momentum is pushing down, money flow is favoring bearish, so the 1-hour doesn't look too positive. If we stay bearish here, we will start to weaken those higher time frames. We did break that 300 EMA. Here it wasn't quite as drastic. So again, that is a good example of why to watch that. We did mention last night to watch for a retest of this resistance area. We hit that resistance, retested it, and we broke down. We did mention in the Discord that we needed to bounce and hold if we were going to see a push forward. If you saw this bounce and you waited for confirmation, you would have seen the next candle was kind of iffy, and then you would have seen your drop off, and that would have been your kind of cautionary sign that we could end up dropping away. So that's why it's important to kind of watch what we're saying every night. Also be in that Discord and see what we're saying every morning. Our stochastic is dropping away, RSI is selling off, momentum is rounding with a red dot, VWAP is breaking down, money flow selling off, so I would exercise caution here on the daily for graph. Over on the 4-hour, we are below our EMA band, so again, exercise caution. If we stay below this band, it's likely we will continue lower. VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is breaking down, money flow is weakening, RSI is pulling back, so watch the higher time frames. Over on our 2-hour, we did break that 300 EMA, so again, you would want to watch for that retest, a push forward, and a strong bounce. We got kind of indecision, so that would have been your cue to kind of sell off or not take a trade. Stochastic is dropping away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is selling off, momentum is dropping, so I would exercise caution. But remember, this could be a long lower shadow that could try to push us up. Over on the 1-hour, you're going to want to watch if we can push up to the 300 EMA. If we push up and we reject, we're likely going to break that 14,316. However, if we break it and hold, we could push to our 16,316 and try to continue forward. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is selling off, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is pulling back, and money flow is weakening. So again, watch very close, but that VWAP is currently trending bearish. Over on Ankr for the daily, we do have a manipulation X. This does want to break us down, so watch that value area low. If we see further red candles, we could break it and then slip to our 2020 again. Stochastic is selling off, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding with a red dot, VWAP is breaking down, money flow is selling off, so I would exercise caution overall. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a pretty quick round, so we did run up very quick and we dropped off very quick. Remember, when you move quick one way, you do move quick the other way usually. So we could see another push up in response to our push down because we did push down very quick. RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is favoring bearish. Watch that VWAP though, that VWAP is struggling to remain bearish. If that VWAP doesn't get lower lows and lower highs from here, we could see it break bullish and push us up, but that would be dependent on lower time frames remaining bullish. Over on the 2-hour, we have lower highs and lower lows that do not connect. RSI and stochastic are dropping, VWAP is breaking bearish, momentum is breaking down, money flow is selling off, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 1-hour, stochastic is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping down, money flow is selling off. Again, exercise caution, watch for the lower lows and lower highs to continue. If it does, we could break this 2338, but we do look like we may try to round forward. Over on XRP for the daily, we did push to our 300 EMA, so I would watch that very close, just like everything else. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is starting to push down, momentum is rounding, VWAP is breaking down, money flow selling off, so overall exercise caution. Over on the 4-hour, we did break that 300 EMA, but we're staying above it. I would watch. This could be positive. If we make a strong bounce and we hold above this 57 from here, we could see a push forward. However, if we reject that 57, it's likely we would push down to our 54. Stochastic is rounding, VWAP is pushing down, RSI is weakening, momentum is dropping, and money flow wants to pull back, so I would exercise caution. Over on that 1 hour, we are rejecting that EMA. We did break, retest, and then we pushed down, so that would have been your hint that we could push lower. Stochastic is dropping down, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, money flow is pulling back, so watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP starts to curl and get lower lows and lower highs here, money flow will continue to sell off and we will continue lower. Over on Algo for the daily, since there's no requests, we are breaking that 1350. We did push down to that 1280, so just shy of where we said. Stochastic is dropping down, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back, and money flow is trying to flip bearish, so I would watch very close. If we start to favor bearish on lower time frames, we could see the daily become bearish and push down. Over on the 4 hour, we tested that EMA and resistance and we failed, so you would have wanted to watch that very close. We did see a push up, a fail to hold above it, and then a push down. That's ideally what you want to see if you're going to take a short, but if you're trying to hope for up, you would have taken that as a hint that we could see further losses. Money flow is pulling back, VWAP is selling off, momentum is rounding with the red dot, RSI is pulling back, so overall exercise caution, watch that VWAP close. Over on the 2 hour, we did break that 300 EMA. We do have a long lower shadow candle though, so remember that does want to push us up, so I would watch very close. If we see a rounding bottom form where we get a strong green candle that engulfs this red candle, we could push forward and break that resistance. However, if we do not see that, it's likely we would sell off. VWAP is seeing lower lows with lower highs, momentum is pulling back, money flow wants to sell off, so I would exercise caution, but be a little hopeful. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to push up, but we're not getting much steam, so I would exercise caution. If we don't see a strong push on the next couple candles, it's likely the bears will remain in control. VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is pushing down, money flow is pulling back, stochastic is dropping, and RSI is weakening, so overall we're not too bullish looking. I would exercise caution. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I appreciate all of you. Have a